You thought he was done? You thought the takes were too hot to handle? You better think again. He's back with even more scorching opinions, more controversial predictions, and the kind of truth bombs that only Zain Bando can deliver. If you missed the first round, prepare yourself. This is the follow-up you've been waiting for. It's time for Zain Zinger Part 2, another certified hit from the Empty the Bench Network. Here's your host, Zain Bando.
Hey, what's up, everyone? We are live. It is Zain Zinger Part 2. It is Sunday, January 25th, 2026. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Again, Zain Zinger Part 2. Shout out to the 27 people who are watching in here so far. Just a few reminders before we get started. You can catch Sunday's episode or replay, rather, on YouTube and X. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Twitch. So the reason why you're not seeing it there is because for whatever reason, I don't know what the reason is, but it seems like we're not really using that as much. I don't exactly know what's going on, but once we fix that, episodes will be back on Kick and Twitch. But for now, we are on YouTube and X. So right now we are streaming live to my YouTube channel, the Bando's Breakdowns X account, the ETV Network account, as well as the ETV Network YouTube channel, and of course my personal Twitter account. So again, thanks again for tuning in wherever you may be listening from, or wherever you may be watching from as well, because you can listen to this if you have YouTube Premium. You could just put it in the background and still hear me. And then, yeah, one more quick reminder before we get started here. Next Friday, January 30th, will be Bando's Breakdowns episode 75. Again, myself, Zain Bando, wherever you get your podcast. Brand new, fresh episode. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. Recapping the AFC and NFC championship games. Whichever outcomes come from those, we'll talk about that. We'll recap UFC 324, preview UFC 325, as well as have another special guest interview, which we will reveal later on in the coming days as to who that's going to be. But there's going to be some more guest interviews moving forward, so just something to bear in mind and pay attention to as we get deeper and deeper into the 2026 calendar year. And again, shout out to the 36 people who are now watching the stream. We're going to go about a half hour or so. And again, thanks so much for all the love on social media. You guys are awesome, especially yesterday with me in West Lafayette for probably the biggest Illinois regular season win thus far. So we're going to talk about that and so much more, but let's get into the stream now. UFC 324 was last night. If you guys haven't heard by now, if you missed the event, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett fought Justin Gaethje for the UFC Interim Lightweight Championship. And of course, Justin Gaethje pulled out all the stops and pulled off a massive upset, ruining the UFC's potential plans of a Ilia Topuria Paddy Pimblett fight later this year. So now it's going to be Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Gaethje won by decision. 5-round war. The 5th round was awesome. Pimblett and Gaethje just slugged it out for much of the fight, but Gaethje's volume was just too much for Pimblett to overcome. Overall, a very exciting fight, and one that I think people aren't going to forget. Gaethje remains now in the mix to try to win a UFC championship, an undisputed one, before he retires. He was talking about potentially retiring a couple months ago, and now it seems like his head is back in the right place again. So I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward as well. A huge win for him, Paddy Pimblett, suffering his first loss in the UFC. But yeah, he did get a performance bonus, so that increases his bonus streak to 15 fights in a row. So congratulations to Pimblett on that. He will be back. He does have a lot to work on though, because he is a little bit one-dimensional. But at least he even admitted it. He's like, if I could lose to one guy, it would be Justin Gaethje. And yeah, I think these two are going to be forever linked in UFC lightweight history, which I think is awesome. So just something to keep in mind there as well. And yeah, overall, the card itself, though, was just okay. I give it a B. And the reason why I give it a B is because there were just a lot of things around it that I wasn't a huge fan of. So, for full transparency, I didn't watch the prelims. I was away from my TV during those. But the prelims I heard were decent, and there were a lot of exciting finishes. So that's really good. But the part that bugs me, and the part that I think bugs a lot of people, is the fact that um is the fact overall that that the new Paramount deal, which is what I was going to get to, in the United States. For whatever reason, people got advertisements in the middle of the event, even if you had premium, like Paramount Plus Premium, like without ads, because there was, the premium and essential plan. It was made very clear from the jump what you could get with either one. So I was very confused on that as well. I had issues with ads, and I'm going to be honest, it was so bad that I had to go to a different feed because I could just not stomach the fact that this was happening to people. Like you pay $7.7 billion for this Paramount Plus deal, and you get people to buy into the premium version of it, the $12.99 version, thinking they won't get ads, and all of a sudden they're getting ads in the middle of the event, random commercials, missing walkouts, that kind of thing. Like I don't understand, and I don't get it. I feel like if you're paying for a premium service to not order $80 pay-per-views anymore, I think ads need to be at a minimum. They need to be, while you're watching it. They need to be like, how they do it in the NFL, where they'll do a split screen and they'll show an ad while a team is huddling up or something. They need to do that. They need to make it a lot clearer, a lot more transparent. And what I don't like about it is the UFC was very nonchalant about this after the fact, specifically Dana White. He really didn't have an answer for what exactly happened with the stream. And then other people were having issues too, where I guess it wasn't one full stream, it was two streams. You had to go to the prelim tile first, watch the prelims, and then all of a sudden, um, there was a message that the octagon is closed. We will see you next time. And people were confused. They're like, wait, where do I go now? And apparently there was another stream you had to go to find the main card, right? Then you had the issue where the actual fights didn't start until 8:35 p.m. Central, 9:35 Eastern. They have that new start time now for the main cards of 9 p.m. Eastern, which I totally understood. But my goodness, like you had a system, at least with ESPN Plus, as bad as the streams were, you had a system. There were no delays. You knew that when the fights began at 10 p.m. Eastern, they started shortly thereafter. This was a drag on. They had Travis Barker doing a drum set, which really didn't make any sense to me. I didn't get that. But the intro to the new era was awesome. The dropping of the curtain was really cool. The Brett Musburger segment was awesome. Like there were things of that broadcast that made it great. I just wish the pacing was a little bit better, and that's really my only complaint about it. So overall, I give it a B plus. I went 7-4 on the card, 2-3 on the main card. More specifically, we lost some big ones. We lost Rose Namajunas. We had her over Natalia Silva. She didn't win. We had Paddy Pimblett over Justin Gaethje, and of course, Paddy And of course, Paddy Pimblett lost, right? And then we also had Derek Lewis beating Waldo Cortez Acosta, and Waldo Cortez Acosta, of course, beat Derek Lewis. So wasn't the greatest main card, but I will take 7-4. Jack Gold went 9-2. So overall, a decent show. A really good start on the prelims for me. I was looking really good. We'd only lost one fight. It was the Charles Johnson, Alex Perez fight. That was the only fight on the undercard we lost. We had Charles Johnson, and obviously we had the whole situation with the canceled fight due to regular betting activity on the Anthony Hernandez Michael Johnson fight. And had that fight happened, I would have took Hernandez. But now stuff is coming out that he was, I don't know, there was a rumor, it's still a rumor, I guess. I don't think it's been officially confirmed anywhere, that he was injured and someone got wind of it and leaked it out, and then the FBI was notified, and then of course they notified it was like a whole thing. So I don't know about that. I don't know, and Dana didn't know either. Like what happens to either of those guys now? Like what transpires? Obviously, Michael Johnson's been around forever, so it would suck for him. I don't think those guys intended to do anything. I don't think they were in on it to try to take a dive or something. I could be wrong though. I don't know the ins and outs of those guys' camps very well, so I can't comment further on something I don't really know about. But what I can tell you is it sucked that the fight was canceled. It also sucked the Cam Smotherman weigh-in issue. Hopefully he's okay. I was looking forward to that fight with Ricky Tercios. It was going to be a good one. I don't know, man. Overall, though, decent show, but I will take 7-4 on that card. And we'll get more into a recap of this on Thursday's episode. That would be probably episode, I think, 154 or 155 of the MMA Outsiders with myself and Jack Gold, which I'm looking forward to. So, overall thoughts, final takeaway, we're getting Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria. It's going to be one of the best fights in recent memory. Can Justin Gaethje win? I have no idea. But if the UFC needs a White House main event that bad, you now have an American that has a chance to become a world champion. So I guess everything kind of works out the way it's meant to. And the UFC is going to have a lot of decisions to make tomorrow when they begin its matchmaking. What do you call it? Its matchmaking spree, if you will, for this card on June 14th. All right, switching gears here to talk about some football. We obviously have the AFC and NFC championships later today. You already know my picks for these games. I like New England over Denver for a few reasons. If you guys haven't heard my show this week or anything, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of both of these picks before we move on to the final two topics of the stream in the final about 15 or so minutes. But yeah, simple reasons here. Cliff Notes. I'll give you 3 reasons for each game. Number 1, Jared Stidham being in there instead of Bo Nix. Huge deal here. Stidham's never been under this kind of pressure. 1 win to go to the Super Bowl, and he's being thrust into this thing. Not a good idea. Number two, New England has not been to the AFC Championship game since 2019. The last time they were in the AFC Championship game, they won, and they went to the Super Bowl and they won it. And of course, they beat the Rams. That was Bill Belichick's final Super Bowl win as a NFL head coach. So that, I think, is number 2, knowing that history could be repeating itself again. And then number 3, New England just coming up big in just huge moments, like moments where you needed New England to do something, either defensively or just something in relation to Drake May, just finding his receivers when need be. Like, they just know how to win games. They've known how to win games since they upset the Bills on Sunday Night Football in Buffalo in a huge upset win there. I think they can. I think they can do it again. They know how to win on the road in a tough environment. I think they can. I think they can do that and then some. 3 reasons for why I'm backing the Rams to cover against Seattle, even though not a lot of people agree. I trust Matt Stafford more than I do Sam Darnold. That's number 1. If he proved anything to me last week, it's that experience truly does matter in the postseason. It mattered against the Bears. He came up huge in that game. It's as simple as that. That's number one. Number two, and this is huge. These two teams are 1-1 against each other. So the Rams know how to beat this team. They've done it before. It's not like they're trying to beat Seattle for the first time. They've already beaten Seattle before during the regular season. So that I think is a massive advantage. And then finally, number three, Sean McVay wants to go back to the Super Bowl. He's already won a Super Bowl. He beat the Bengals, but to me, this team feels different. This team feels complete, and they just know how to win. They figured out how to win. They've won 2 road games already. They have to go on the road again for the 3rd game in a row. A team that had to go on the road and win the Super Bowl all the way through. Huge reminder of this is the 2010 Green Bay Packers. They had to do so, go on the road every week to go to the Super Bowl. They had to beat the Eagles and the Falcons and the Bears. I think the Rams are doing a similar thing here, and I would not be surprised if the Rams advance to the Super Bowl. So I'm excited. We'll see how it transpires, but I think it'll be 2 really good games today. And again, I really like New England and the Rams to play in the Super Bowl. All right, very briefly, Zuffa Boxing. We had 8 fights on this card. We went 6-2 on this card, which I think is pretty good. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, this card was really, really exciting. We had Callum Walsh in the main event versus Carlos Ocampo. That was a really, really, really good fight. And that was a fight that I think really tested Callum Walsh in ways that he hadn't been tested before. So I thought that was really, really good for him to go in against a guy with almost, let's see, more than double the experience he had. I think Ocampo had 38 fights going in and Walsh had 15. Let's see. And then, I mean, overall, I did really well in this card. We're now up to 19 wins overall for the Zuffa era. I count a few of those smaller cards that were under Zuffa this past year towards my current record as well. So we were 13-5-1 going into this. So to be 19 or 19-7-1, I think is what my record is now. I think is pretty good. But yeah, overall though, Walsh looked great. His boxing was crisp. He almost finished Ocampo in the second to last round and the last round of the fight, so that was exciting. Overall, I thought the broadcast was really well done. Jaio Pataya being there was awesome. He's the best cruiserweight on the planet. They've already signed him. He's going to fight March 8th. And that co-main event, Kane Sandoval and Julian Rodriguez, they gave it all they had. I don't know if that's going to be a Zuffa Boxing rivalry, but if it is, I think you're in for 2 more epic fights between those two if they end up fighting each other. I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. And overall, I just thought the vibe in the arena was great. It's the Meta Apex now. They've expanded it to 1,100 people. And there's going to be more stuff done by May, which is really good. It seems that the UFC has took good care of that arena since 2019. I've been in it when it was exclusive, so I know what it's like for the intimate setting of that. So I'm excited to go back in the near future, see what it's like. But overall, though, this was a solid card. I really enjoyed watching it. I thought the pacing of the main card was really good. And I mean, to see it cap off with another Callum Walsh performance, I mean, that kid is special. He's only 24, and I think he has a bright future ahead. And, the desk was talking about, Antonio Tarver and Mike Hoppinger and Cade Scott. No, not Cade Scott. Sorry. Molly Curum. They were talking about potential matchups for Walsh, and they seem interested in the Julian Rodriguez fight. So I don't know if the UFC will make that fight happen, but that's a fight that I think a lot of people would be excited to watch, and I would certainly tune in for it. So, but overall, though, I thought it was a good card. I'm excited for Zuffa Boxing 2. We will preview that next week on this stream, as it is a Sunday evening card. So we'll talk about that and much more next week. But final topic here, I went to this game. I braved the elements. Illinois versus Purdue, number 11 versus number 4 in the nation. Huge game. Illinois beats Purdue for the first time in Mackey Arena since 2020. That's now 2 wins in a row in the rivalry for Illinois. Keaton freaking Wagler. I don't know what more to say. That guy should be in the player of the year conversation. No question about it. 46 points, 39 minutes, 9 threes of 11 attempts. Kid was unreal. Without Kylan Boswell, he stepped up in a huge way. Blew up all over social media yesterday. Was one of the best Illinois games I've ever attended. I've attended a lot of Illinois basketball games in my life, both as a fan and as a member of the media. This was fantastic. Shout out to everybody at Purdue that made it possible. My seat was unbelievable. I was right at midcourt. Could not have asked for a better viewing experience at Mackey Arena. I would gladly go back to Mackey Arena anytime. That was a great venue. The place was sold out. It was hard to hear in there. Oh, it was a great vibe, man. And to hear Keaton Wagler after the game declare that Illinois is national championship ready. Oh, I'm excited for the next month and a half because when's the last time you heard an Illinois player just flat out say, oh, we're going to go win a national title? It's been a really long time. So if you need some early Final Four betting tickets, Illinois might be a smart play. Illinois has now won 9 games in a row. They're currently in the thick of the Big Ten title picture, and I can't believe I'm saying that, given that they're going to be without Boswell until the middle of the month. But wow, Illinois has set itself up for a massive few game stretch here. You got Washington, you have Nebraska, you have Northwestern, and then you have Michigan State. If you can win 3 of those games, with the only loss being Nebraska, or all 4, which would put you on a 13-game winning streak, I mean, there is no denying that they are one of the best teams in the country. They should be a top 10 team tomorrow. I don't know if they will be, but with all the parity that happened in college basketball yesterday, I would not be surprised if Illinois somehow snuck into that top 10 picture, because I think Illinois deserves it. And again, it has a chance to avenge its only conference loss on February 1st against a Nebraska team that continues to win. Nebraska is now 20-0. Has looked flawed at times, but has found ways to win, and we are almost up to 100 people as the stream is nearly over. So thanks again for tuning in for you guys that are a little bit of late arrivals. Brad Underwood also got his 100th Big Ten win yesterday. Huge, huge stuff. And of course, a few other news and notes from yesterday. It's Underwood's first ever 9-game win streak. It's the first time they've won in Mackey Arena since 2020. This is for the people who are just coming in now. And of course, I mean, they silenced the Purdue faithful, man. I mean, Purdue was amped up yesterday. When I tell you the amount of people that were excited to go to this game, people were freaking jacked up to watch this game yesterday. I mean, it was a vibe like it was, you can't even explain it. So this is my 3rd Big Ten venue that I've seen. I've been to Welsh Ryan, State Farm, and Mackey. There's no question now. Even going one time, Mackey is the loudest arena of the 3, and it's not even comparable. And it's no disrespect to my alma maters at all, but Mackey is different, and I can understand why people feel that way. So there's that. That's also the case too. Huge win for Illinois again, 88-82. That's something I didn't mention. 88-82 was the final score. Again, Wagler led all scorers, 46 points. And I think Braden Smith said it best. Wagler is a lottery pick if he chooses to declare for the NBA draft. So there's that. All right, that's going to do it, though, for Zain Zinger Part 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. And with 5 minutes to go, we're just going to do a bit of a teaser into episode 75 and beyond. So Banda's Breakdowns episode 75, for those of you who just got here, we will be on next week, same time, same places as usual. Big episode, as we have just discussed. We will preview and predict UFC 325. We will recap UFC 324. We will go over my thoughts on Illinois, whether its win streak is still afloat, because actually, wait. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. By the time we recorded the episode, we won't know whether Illinois has won 10 in a row. But by the time it comes out, you guys will know whether Illinois was either upset by Washington or if Illinois maintained its win streak. So we'll talk about that. We'll more than likely preview the game against Nebraska in Lincoln. If that isn't a top 10 matchup, I'll be really surprised. I think it will be. Hopefully, Illinois moves to like number 7 or number 8. So it's as close to a top 5 matchup as possible. But nonetheless, though, it'll be a huge game regardless. So we'll talk about that. We will talk about who is in the Super Bowl, my way too early pick for the Super Bowl. If my predictions come true, it's going to be the same pick I gave you guys at the beginning of the playoffs. But if not, we'll do a new pick based on who's in the games. We'll do a way too early pick on that. And we'll probably talk about some other stuff. There's some other news out there. Arthur Smith to Ohio State. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the coaching carousel stuff. Mike McCarthy is now the new coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we'll talk more about that. And in fact, that's a good plug for me to let you guys know that Gridiron Gurus with Grant Winsauer, Ben Cruz, and Michael Rapolo is coming up after me within the next 30 or so minutes. So right after we're done here, you will be able to hear those guys talk everything there is to know about the National Football League as well. So they will talk about all of that. We're also going to be discussing just some more stuff overall, some stuff we haven't gotten to. We'll probably talk about some of the college basketball cancellations due to all of this mess of a winter storm. We'll talk about what is currently going on in Minnesota from a sports standpoint. We had an NBA postponement. We're not going to get too deep into the graphic details of what's going on, but we will talk about the situation, how it impacts sports and how it's impacting these teams and these players and stuff like that. So we'll do it from that sort of angle as well. And we'll also talk about some other stuff. I'm going to go deeper into what I really think of Zuffa Boxing, what I think Dana can do better to make it a more viable product. And of course, we'll get more into just my thoughts on Paramount, my overall thought. And somebody did address yesterday that the full library for Paramount is not up there yet, and Dana said he would fix it. So I think more changes are coming to Paramount Plus. I don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow or even Tuesday, but nonetheless, though, more changes are coming, so that's really good. We'll talk about that. And we'll probably talk about some other stuff before getting to our guest at the end of the show. And by the way, for those of you who missed the Scott Ramsey interview, again, Scott Ramsey, president and CEO of the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl. I was lucky enough to have him on my program this past week. If you want the full interview, it is on the ETB Network YouTube channel. You can also find it over on my YouTube channel as well. A great about 15 or so minute conversation covering everything there is to know about the Music City Bowl, which again saw Illinois defeat Tennessee 30-28 to close a 9-win season for Brett Bielema's football program. But with that said, though, again, that's going to do it. This is Zain Zinger Part 2. This was a really fun stream. I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys, all 107 of you. And if you guys aren't subscribed, please be sure to subscribe. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, do what you got to do, because these streams are coming every single week. We usually don't take off weeks for this because we do go live. So again, in order to do so, youtube.com/ETB Network. And of course, you can follow the flagship show for this extension on social media at Bando's Breakdown. And of course, you can follow me at social media at Zain Bando 99. For everybody here at the Empty the Bench Podcast Network, my name is Zain Bando. This has been another edition of Zain Zinger Part 2. Hope you all are staying warm. Hope you all enjoy the NFL action today as it's coming up in the next few hours. If any of your teams are remaining to go to the Super Bowl, good luck to all of them, and wishing them a happy and safe and successful championship Sunday moving forward. But until next week, I'm Zain Bando. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to this live stream. I greatly appreciate you. And we will see you all next week, where we will officially be in February. Have a good one, everyone.